What have you done about the chaos of the world? Anything? What about the chaos in your own world? Today I cover a powerful Stoic method that, if practiced, will keep you calm, steady, and strong despite all the chaos that's swirling around you. Now, that might sound like a pretty big promise, calm and steady in a world that never stops spinning. Well, I'm not an expert or a life coach. I'm just someone who's been around a while, 74 years and counting, and I'm still learning what it means to live well. I've always been drawn to self-improvement, but only recently have I stumbled into Stoicism. It's a 2,000-year-old philosophy that still speaks very powerfully to modern life. It's about becoming your best self and staying grounded no matter what is going on in the world around us. This video isn't me telling you how to live. It's me sharing what I'm discovering, what I'm trying, which in turn might help you as well. So if you're looking for a place to reflect, reset, and find steadier ground, welcome. In the next few minutes, we'll learn what ancient Stoic philosophers can teach us about finding that calm, steady path, something that we can summon at will, especially as we age. How many plans have you made that didn't go exactly as you expected? My answer would be most of them. And how often do world events leave you unsettled? Daily? Whether it's political upheaval, unexpected health challenges, or just daily frustrations like traffic jams, life throws obstacles when we least expect them. But here's what the Stoics discovered some 20 centuries ago that I've been learning recently. There's something about you that circumstances can't touch. And that's where your real power lies. We're going to discover exactly what that is and how to bring that part of us front and center. So stick around. First, here's a hint. It's something the Stoics called the dichotomy of control. There are things within our control, and then there are things that lie completely outside of our control. So what is outside of our control? Well, the weather. People's choices, the economy, world conflicts, decisions that our adult children make, waiting 45 minutes for your doctor, and our bodies that just don't seem to cooperate anymore. Pretty much it's an endless list of things that are outside of our control. But there are certain things that definitely are within our control, namely our responses, our attitudes, our choices in the present moment. And this is crucial, our judgments about things that are happening. The thing is, we usually forget to differentiate between what we can control and what we cannot control. About 6 months ago, I joined a gym to get back into shape, to stay strong as I age. I also signed up for 8 sessions with a personal trainer to build a more resilient Mel. I was enthusiastic. I was optimistic. But on the very first day, something popped. Surgery followed, and I was sidelined for months. My goals, naturally, were crushed. And honestly, so was I. And I didn't handle it very well. Quite frankly, I was wasting precious energy fighting something that had already happened. Then I remembered what I'd been reading about Stoicism, and I asked myself, what can I control right now? The answer was surprisingly freeing. I couldn't control the pain or the long and slow healing, but I could control how I spent those extra hours at home. I could control my judgment and attitude towards this unexpected pause in life. Now, I know many of you are facing your own version of this. Maybe it's the loss of independence or friends, or an aging body that just doesn't keep up with the spirit inside of you, or just feeling left behind in a faster, louder world. Now, I get it. And what I'm suggesting is something the Stoic philosopher Epictetus understood deeply. He lived much of his life as a slave and then as a freed man with a permanent disability. He knew about limitations that weren't his choice. Epictetus taught that we suffer not from the events themselves, but from our reactions and our judgments of those events. A traffic jam is just a traffic jam until we decide it's a disaster that ruins our entire day. A forced change in our routine is just a change until we judge it as evidence that everything is falling apart. Let's look at 3 ways that we can train ourselves to focus on what we can control as opposed to the things that we can't. First, when something upsets you, a rude clerk, an unfair neighbor, ask, is this within my control? It sounds simple, but it takes practice. After all, our minds have decades of practice trying to control everything. If it's outside of your control, your energy is better spent focusing on your response. If it's within your control, then clearly you can choose to do something about it and take appropriate action. Second, practice what I call response training. When someone cuts you off, when the store is out of what you need, when your computer acts up, these are opportunities. They're opportunities to strengthen your response muscle by purposefully choosing your response. Third, remember that your interpretations of any event are choices that you make. The Stoics believed that between any event and our reaction to that event is a space, moments where we interpret what just happened, and in that space lies our freedom and our power to choose. Let's talk about the reality of aging, for instance. Marcus Aurelius, who had significant health issues, wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself that you have to go to work, at just being human today." He understood that each day, regardless of our age or circumstances, that we have the opportunity to practice being human, to practice wisdom, kindness, resilience. Now, our challenges may not duplicate or match that of the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, but they still often erode our peace. Can you adopt this mindset? Of course you can. You've been dealing with things your entire life. You've already survived 100% of the hardest days. The difference now is that you can be more intentional about it. You can choose to see each challenge not as proof that life is getting harder as you age, but another opportunity to practice this ancient wisdom. Make a point first of differentiating between what is within your control and what is outside of your control. Then exercise your response muscle and choose wisely and consciously. That's your superpower. And as a bonus, you'll gain back the energy that you used to waste complaining and worrying and fretting. This brings me to something else important. We don't have to do this alone. The Stoics valued community highly. They understood that wisdom grows when it's shared, and resilience strengthens when it's practiced together. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. So I'll ask you, what's one thing that's been outside of your control lately that you may have been wasting energy on? This isn't so we can solve it together, but so we can practice recognizing these things and letting go of the struggles. The struggles against things that have often already happened. And if you found a way to focus on your response instead of the circumstance itself, share that too. Your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Now, here's the thing. I'm not pretending that this is easy. I often find myself trying to control things that are completely outside of my influence. It's just that having practiced, I'll catch it sooner now, and redirect that energy. That's all we need to do. Not perfection, just gentle redirection and a little more awareness each and every day. And that's exactly what we need to stay strong, steady, and calm throughout our later years. I'm learning that when I do this, circumstances lose their power over me, and I truly believe that it'll work for you too. Until next time, subscribe, ring the bell, and keep focusing on what you can control, starting with your response to this very moment. I'm Mel Inglema. Take care and stay steady, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.